Welcome back, sparkling community, to Ignite Your Spark. I'm your host, Kim Duff Selby. Thank you for joining me this week, last week, next week. Anytime you've listened in 100 and almost 60 episodes, I am grateful. And I'm also grateful that you will be sharing this episode and commenting on it and subscribing if you have not already done so. And a groovy 5-star rating like you would give your Uber driver. That would be great. And the reason is I want to shine more light into the world to encourage you to shine yours so that we can just be sparklers everywhere. Igniting sparks. That's what I want you to do when you walk into a room. Today, I have a very sparkling sparkler guest. Leslie Gordon Christie is with me, and she is lovely and energetic and enthusiastic. And of course, I love that about her. She is the creator of We Are Buff Nation, which is an online fitness community helping women over 40 reclaim their energy, confidence, and waistline. Yeah. Even though we know we shouldn't prescribe to the media ideals of, oh, you need to look like this. It's important because I know I've done my research that the most important thing you can do as you age is move your body. And on that, welcome, Leslie. Thank you for joining me.
Yay, thank you. And I love your energy. It is absolutely infectious. All the people listening know that when I logged in, I felt it right away. So you're the spark. Anyway, thank you for having me.
Of course, Leslie. And for those of you watching on YouTube, you will see that I'm in a workout top, which I wore in honor of Leslie. And Leslie looks stunning, in a gorgeous white jacket. But for those of you listening, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. But if you want to see her, go on to YouTube. Okay, enough of that. All right, Leslie, I got to say it. I got to ask it. How do you ignite your spark?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I actually do things that not energize, but the other way, right? Because I am around people and I motivate people, it's really important that I'm connected to my greater purpose. And so I begin every morning with a meditation, and then I do 30 minutes of personal development, affirmations, visualization, and then I do another meditation midday. And of course, I do exercise, yoga, really focusing on high vibe foods that make me feel good, and, goal setting and connecting with other like-minded ladies, because it's all about who we hang out with. And so, yeah, I have a great regime that took a lot of time to kind of get into place. And the other big thing that I do is the gratitude piece. So I kind of have every day, I really follow the structure of the morning routine.
Yeah, I love it. I'm a gratitude girl. I mean, there is no coincidence that we are put together in this time right here, right now, because I believe gratitude next to movement or equal gratitude and movement are the things
sure.
we can do.
Yeah.
Really help us on our journey in life right now.
Yes.
And of course, I love that you're a self-development junkie like I am too. You got your start in broadcasting, didn't you?
Oh my
And
gosh.
if you can tell, Leslie has a little Canadian accent. She's from Canada. And I always wanted to be a broadcaster, but you actually were a broadcaster, weren't you?
I was, and I can remember as a kid wanting to be like Barbara Walters. I would dream about it. I would pick up my hairbrush and interview people. Yeah, I was in broadcasting for more than a decade. I worked at Canada's largest private broadcaster, CTV. I was a reporter. I did everything, right? I carried around my gear when it was 3/4. If anyone's listening and actually knows what that is,
I
where
know.
you know what it is? You have you
Oh,
have a camcorder and you have a like you carry two separate things. I did that, and then I anchored, and then the last part was actually a great gig. It was a health and lifestyle specialist. So I got to really focus on uplifting people, and coming into people's lives and providing some information that could help them move forward, which I think is really what got me started into fitness, and then of course personal development, right?
yeah, that's what I was going to ask. How did you get into the arena in which you currently find yourself? So the arena, I love that. That was kind of a boxing metaphor.
Well, I think what had happened was, like so many women, you think that the next step in your career, the next rung is going to bring you happiness. And it's that dangling carrot. And so I hired a coach to take me to the next level. My goal was to be on CNN. And through the coaching process, I actually realized I was out of alignment with my true values. And my values were about inspiring and motivating people. And so I really got into that program. I really started to grow. A lot of times clients will come to me and they'll say, I want to switch careers. And I'll say what my mentor said to me, and that is, stay where you are and grow yourself. And when you grow yourself, things will just happen. And that's exactly what happened. So I ended up leaving news after the birth of my second child. And I went back to my passion, which was fitness. Like I've been teaching fitness classes since probably grade 11. And I put myself through broadcasting school by teaching fitness. And so I wanted to start a fitness community, but also bring about the mindset piece that I had learned so much about through my journey. And that's exactly what I did. So it started there with 3 people in the class, and then it got bigger and bigger, and it was just amazing and awesome. And now I do the personal development piece that really helped me make that pivot in my life. So that's kind of how it happened.
Oh, I love it. That's so interesting because I also work with women to help them discover their passion and purpose at this point in life. And this point being this point, wherever you are, 40, 50,
Yeah.
60, 70, 80, beyond. And I think it's really important to discover what the essence of what you really love to do is and your values. You just said it
Oh,
there. That's so important. And did you get certified then to become a coach of
yeah.
not just a fitness coach, but a life coach as well?
Yeah, so at that time, I went and did, it wasn't the Proctor Gallagher Institute then, but I trained with Bob Proctor.
Huh.
He's very well known. He's no longer with us, but in the personal development industry. And it was about the time that The Secret was coming out, right? And it wasn't mainstream. And I had gone through, like so many things that happen in our lives, I had gone through a divorce and I was just having a hard time actually doing the news, believe it or not. I didn't realize I didn't know what anxiety was at that time. I was just feeling like I had to pull this together. I was going through a divorce. I had to go live on the news. I needed some help. And I was into Tony Robbins and I was into self hypnosis and NLP. And so I just looked up in the phone book self hypnosis. And it led me to this woman who is amazing and incredible. And she got me started with EFT, introduced me to The Secret. And from The Secret, that is where I saw Bob Proctor. And I just needed to go and train with them and be certified by them. And that's exactly what I did. And then I brought that back and I started my fitness program. And then during COVID, I started to notice the real need for teaching people how to master their mindset, their thinking, and get their thinking working for them rather than against them. So that's kind of why, I started fitness and then I did a little bit of a pivot and now it's all encompassing because it's all about your mindset. Like even if you want to get in shape, it is about seeing yourself as that healthy, fit, vibrant person so you can make that change,
I do know. And our mindset matters. It is one of
Oh
the
gosh.
most important ways to move forward with anything. And I want to talk, I think, about fear because I've been dealing with that a lot. And I think fear holds us back in so many ways, whatever it is, whether it is taking that next step or fear of the unknown, fear of lack of control. And I know you speak to that. What are your thoughts on that and releasing it and maybe suggestions?
Yeah, because it really is a big thing for so many people. And I know for me, I didn't understand that it was fear that was actually holding me back. I didn't know that. I thought when I got afraid for something or nervous that there was something wrong with me.
Mhm.
But actually, it's something called the terror barrier. And it is, it's a psychological barrier that we all hit when we push outside of our comfort zones. One of the things that I talk about, and you would have heard this too, being a self-development, guru really into it is that notion of the paradigm. The paradigm is that subconscious mind that we're really just, 96 to 98% of everything we do is a subconscious program. Okay, we got to remember that when we're making any change, whether it's getting a new job, releasing 20 pounds, going after a financial goal, we are set at a program. It's kind of like your phone. If you have a phone that is old and doesn't run apps properly, okay, have you had one of those phones before, right? Where you just try to take a photo and the thing closes down? Well, it's the same thing with us. When we have a goal, we are actually have that old program, and we've got to upgrade the program first before we can actually make the change. And so that upgrade and us seeing ourselves as doing something different is outside of the program. So obviously it's going to feel uncomfortable, right? Because we're built as human beings to stay safe, to stay comfortable. But because everything's a program, unless we take that leap and we go for it, nothing's going to change. So I really think understanding that when you set that goal, whether it's a health and fitness goal or again, wanting to do something different with your career, yes, you want to do that. And absolutely, that's amazing because goals drive us forward, but it's okay to feel uncomfortable. In fact, if you don't feel uncomfortable, you're not going in the right direction. It's way too easy, right? And I think hearing that makes a difference, right?
Absolutely. Those paradigms have been instilled in us since we were such young children. They can be, you're not good enough. You're not, if you're an athlete, or you're not an athlete, you're not an athlete. If you hear a parent say, well, my daughter's smart, but she's not really an athlete, what do you think that's going to do, right?
I know.
Your brain. So I know how important it is to change our mindset. And I also know that it's scary to jump outside. Do you believe that affirmations can assist us in doing this?
Yes. Yes, I absolutely do. In fact, there's only two ways to reprogram the subconscious mind. One is emotional impact. And so, an emotional impact, I'm sure you can all relate. If someone goes to the doctor and they've been a smoker their whole life, and the doctor says, I'm sorry, but you have lung cancer, you have to stop smoking. Immediately, we all know those people who left the doctor's office and they never smoked again, right? That was a paradigm of the smoking, a habit pattern that has been there for years, and they just stopped. The emotion was there. But most of the time, it's negative with the emotional impact. The second way is spaced repetition. Spaced repetition. So we've got to program it just like how it went in. So affirmations are incredibly powerful. In fact, they're an absolute must because unless you override your program, it's going to default. It's going to be a default program. So every day when you're moving towards a goal, and that's something I say to the ladies who are in my fitness community, you got to tell yourself, I am healthy, fit, and energized. I can do this. I am worth the time of money, investment of time, of resources. You have to remind yourself that. Otherwise, your old program, it kicks in, right? And you always know your programs by looking at your current results. Your current results never lie. And it's not to judge where you're at, but you can see where your programs are. If you start something and then stop it, your program is, I start then stop. So you've got to give yourself an affirmative statement to move yourself past that. And that is even more important than the exercise itself, because that's going to fuel you to keep going for the long haul to get you to that goal.
Oh, I really like that. I am rereading, it's funny you brought up The Secret, Rhonda Byrne's book, not The Magic, because she was the creator of The Secret, right? The Secret to Love, Health, and Money by Rhonda Byrne. And I was reading in it the power of your mind and being grateful for your strong, healthy body. And the examples she gave, a woman who had alopecia and was told, this is it. Sorry, you're bald, blah, blah. Too bad, wear a wig or live with it. And by simply affirming and believing and being grateful for her thick, luxurious head of hair, she was able to grow back her hair. I think we need more examples like that. And people are probably, who are skeptical, would say, oh, come on, that didn't really happen. That's a one-time thing. And I just encourage people, try it. Try it for yourself. I swear my hair is thicker because I've been doing that. I believe it. I'm such a believer in affirmations and gratitude that in enhancing our life and helping us move toward our goal, I love your message, which I know is very Bob Proctor oriented. I never studied, with him, but I just love the concepts. So great.
Yeah, because it's what you focus on grows, right? And so here's the thing, it's like the glass half full, the glass half empty. By you focusing on the glass half full, you're not denying the glass is half empty. But by what you focus on, that will impact your results because thoughts make you feel, feelings, thoughts, feelings, actions, results. That's, and if you're listening and you're like, what the heck? Write it down. Thoughts, feelings, actions, results, and just think about it. Like, think about when you get up in the morning and you're late. What do you think? And then what do you feel? And then what do you do? And what's your result? So, for example, you're late. You're like, oh, I'm late. I'm late. Shoot, I'm late. You get up, you trip on the way to the shower, right? I'm late. I'm late. I'm late. I feel anxious. Anxious people take certain actions. You might road rage, you might, get into traffic, you might get in an argument with your boss. But if you get up and you realize what's happening and you stop the program and you say, okay, yes, I'm a little late. I got this. Okay. When you say that, that's a different feeling. And when you feel calmer, you're going to take different action. And then you head off to work. And you know what? Maybe intuitively, you take a left-hand turn instead of a right turn, a shortcut, less traffic. You get there, you're earlier, or your boss is late, right? That's crazy. But think about it. Thoughts, feelings, actions, results. Yeah.
Well, I wrote it down too. I mean, I know I'm
Oh,
going
good.
to this a couple times, but I wrote it down. Now, I've heard from someone somewhere, one of the trainings I've been through, who knows, that when these thoughts come in, it actually helps sometimes to do a visual cue, like put your hand up and go stop. I mean, to me,
awesome.
I need that
Yeah.
because sometimes I get that way. We all get rushed. And if I just go stop,
Yes.
take a breath, then that sort of brings me back to realization. It's a visual and a visceral cue, I guess.
Yeah, but it's a pattern interrupt. So a pattern interrupt will mean it'll get in the way of that subconscious program, right? Like, so if you always react to something the same way, if you put in a pattern interrupt, you allow yourself space to make a different decision. So that's actually why it's very effective because you do that. And it's as simple as long as you can even call it out, negative thought, negative thought, negative thought. I know when I first started, that worked for me. I would call negative thought, negative thought, negative thought, and it would help me shift my mind.
Yeah, I love it. And that, I guess, is what you're saying that affirmations do because it's a program interrupt. And,
Yes.
I say this, I actually do have the sticky pads all over my computer
Oh,
monitor. I am successful, says that one. My online program reaches millions of women. Okay, maybe not millions. I don't have that one. But I think it's really important. And I say it, put it on your phone screen, put it on your computer, put the sticky notes wherever you see them every day
yeah.
in your car, in your bathroom.
Yeah, because what you focus on grows, right? And sometimes people will say, well, affirmations get a bad rap. And I will say this, you've got to choose an affirmation that isn't going to do the opposite of what it intended. And so what you can do is I like to water down the language briefly, okay? Because with affirmations, it's always I am statements. We know that it needs to be in the present because the subconscious mind doesn't know what's real or imagined, right? So it's got to be in the present tense. But if for example, you want to be healthy, fit, and vibrant, but you actually aren't there yet, and to say I am healthy, fit, and vibrant is a little stretch, you could say I'm learning to be, or I'm learning to make time for myself. And so what I'll do with some of my clients is we'll start there, and then in a couple weeks, it's amazing how much progress they make, and then we take out the learning, and they're able to say I am healthy, fit, and vibrant. Right? It's the little shift.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful. I do understand about chunking down and making things small and easily digestible. I've not heard that as a great way to jump into affirmations slowly instead of jumping into everything like I do, just jump in. But I am learning to. I am learning to love myself. I am learning to believe that I am worthy.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. And that in itself, when you focus on that, the universe will bring you. That's the other thing. When you start affirmations, you've got to know that the universe brings you what you ask for, but sometimes it's not always not what you expect. So if you say, I'm learning to see my worth, and situations are popping up that you're like, what? I'm feeling unworthy. That's your message. That's your program. Like that's the universe saying that's where your program is. That's where the adjustment needs to be shifted.
Oh,
Yeah.
that is very powerful stuff. I mean, that is definitely the mind. I've read a lot about how we can actually change our synapses, that it's not too late. That's why my messaging is you are never too old.
Never. Oh my gosh, it's only beginning, right? It's only beginning. Yeah, you've got such a powerful message. I love it. It's so true. It's only beginning. And when you start to understand the power of your thinking, you can change your perception on anything. And instead of the glass half full, the glass, I run into that a lot with, and you probably would too, working with women over 40, 50, 60. There's that notion of I'm too old.
Mhm.
And that's actually a limiting belief in your paradigm. That's not true. So many people have, oh my gosh, was it? I'm trying to remember her name. She ran her first marathon in her 80s.
80s. Yeah, I read that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then Little House on the Prairie, the woman behind that, she was in her 60s, I think. I mean, people gets and that's great. We're just
Oh,
starting.
Lessons in Chemistry. The woman who wrote it was in her 60s or 60
Oh,
or something.
right.
She wrote it. I saw her speak.
Love that.
I love that too. Diana Nyad swam. What was it that she swam the English Channel when she was in her 60s? Now she had tried 5 years, and it's not like you're going to be able to do that, folks. Okay. You need to do your 10,000 hours, whatever it is, to do it. But it doesn't mean you can't start. We
Yes.
don't, we're all just sort of regular people, set your goal to walk a mile by the end of 2 months if you don't walk it,
Yes.
right? I mean, it's really believing you can do it. And
Oh, so true.
I mean, I don't know about you, but even I have a hard time sometimes believing things like that.
Yep.
One of the things I believe is that I am not too old. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm fine. I'm grateful to be this age, really. Yes, I look at my wrinkles and I look at the saggy skin and I look at the dark spots and I go, well, there they are. I'm getting better at it. I'm getting better at accepting. We have to accept where we are right
Yeah.
here, right now.
Yeah. And the gratitude of where our body has taken us. I think so often we beat our bodies up by saying, I can't believe you can't do that, or you can't do this, or oh my gosh, you're not doing what you did 10 years ago. But the truth of it is, look at everything it is doing, right? And so that right there is a perception switch to gratitude, and you're going to feel differently. Like, you said, you notice all of the good things, and that's really important when you're looking to, release weight or improve your health. Is we got to start from a place of self-love, not self-deprecation, right? Beating ourselves up,
Yeah.
pulling ourselves down. Yeah.
And it is hard for a lot of people to do that. I understand, but that's why working with someone such as yourself is a great idea. And
Yeah.
your online community, it is so fabulous. Your website is just so vibrant. And do you work with women on their are you ever live with people or is it always pre-recorded? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so our fitness community that is called Buff Nation, and Buff, by the way, stands for Beautiful, Unique, Fearless Female.
Oh,
Um, and it's designed to give you everything when you're over 40, 50s, and 60s to, just step into that best version of you. So that means controlling hormones and cortisol, slowing down and doing some yoga, strength training because it boosts your metabolism. We know that's a great way to counter the aging process of we naturally lose muscle mass every year. So strength training, and then the community of like-minded people because you become the sum total of the 5 people you hang out with. So you want to make sure you're surrounded by people. So on that note, we have live fitness classes that you can join for all levels. We also have replay land is what we call when you can't come live. And that's the fitness side. And then on the personal development side, we have like a premier coaching program. We have a mindset community. So we have it set up that way. But what's really amazing, and you notice this too, people can be in all different areas, but come together in like-mindedness for the pursuit of, feeling amazing and healthy, right? And that's really powerful. And that's what you're doing with your podcast, but it's really amazing how now there's no geographical boundaries because right through social media and through the airwaves. Yeah.
oh, absolutely. And there is not one without the other. And that's what I particularly like about your program is that, yeah, you can go off and talk to a trainer, but that person may not give you the mindset you need. And that's why I think a lot of people fail at
Yeah,
losing weight or at achieving their goals, because it's more than just one thing. It's an entire mindset game.
it is.
And
Yeah.
you also do, you talk about nutrition. I love how you say high vibe foods. I think you said that. I've interviewed another woman who's a high vibe chef as
Yeah.
well. And I think that's another part that people just don't accept, is how important it is to eat high vibrational foods.
Yeah, and it's different for everybody, right? And I think once you identify that and look at it from the perspective of it's not deprivation, it's actually um, self-care, giving your body the foods that it needs to function optimally, not the foods that break it down. And it's different for everybody, and understanding that connection, because we have a lot of guilt around the food, the eating like as well. But if we can see the food as the high vibe fuel, that little shift, and that's something that, sometimes takes a little bit of work, it really makes a difference in people's lives. It
Yeah.
does. All of it comes together.
I
Yeah.
know this. I mean, I totally believe this. And I also have, I try to remember at every meal to thank the
Oh,
uh,
perfect. Yeah.
ground, to thank the farmers, to thank the people who brought it into my Whole Foods, because I know, and to thank the food itself. And I have digestive issues. I mean, I'm working on them. I was diagnosed with working on that. And do you know that over the past few days, when I've really focused on that, I say, this food will nourish. Thank you for, I say thank you though. Thank you for nourishing my body and giving me the nutrients I need in this food. Thank you to the chicken who laid this egg in the pasture raised, that was pasture raised. Thank you for this. Thank you for that. And I actually feel better. I mean, I've been doing it really
Absolutely.
hardcore for the past couple of days.
Yeah.
Bless my water, bless. I thank my water in the morning, my water and I
Absolutely.
mean,
Doesn't that, it feels so good, right? Like you describing that to me was like, oh yeah, because you realize the deeper connection with
yes.
everything. And I think that as we get older, that's one of the benefits to want to make a transformation at this age, because we have the wisdom that we didn't have before.
And some people may not. They may need the guidance. They could
Yep.
reach our age and they may live in an area where they grew up on Dunkin' Donuts and crispy fried chicken and all of that. And they don't realize. And I really hope that we can get the word out how important, feeding your body is, as well
Yeah.
as your mind and moving. Okay. So just all those things. That's all.
Yeah.
Do you know, I'm going to share this right here. I don't know if I've shared it on the podcast before. I read a study from Penn and I think there's two studies, Penn and Harvard, because I am over 60 and my doctor says, you need to do more weight bearing. I'm like, I do. Well, you need to build your muscle. But I read, or your bones, keep your bone strength up. I read that eating 6 prunes a day I read a study proven to actually help rebuild bones. You heard it here. And this is
Wow.
an ad for prunes.
That's great.
So I'm eating my 6 prunes a day and I love them. I mean,
They're
I think
so
you have to
delicious.
start slowly, and you get the
Yeah, you have to.
organic, non-sulfate. Don't jam them all in your head one day and go, whoa, hello. But I just wanted to share that tidbit here
That's
today.
great.
Okay. All right. Well, before we wrap up, one of the things that, I read that is on your little sheet is the power of a life vision. I think this would be a good place to wrap up. How would you encourage someone to create a life vision? And I know we've been talking about this, how to reprogram our subconscious via affirmations, but is there something else you want to say regarding that?
Yeah, I think it's very important. And it comes down to this. Because everything is a program, we often forget the kind of person we want to be. So I'll often sit down with clients and I'll say, let's write down your vision script, even I call it the self-image script, because self-image script is very important, especially for women. Who do you want to show up as in this world? And you can start it by saying, I am. So in my vision script, I'll say, I am an effective motivator. I am spiritually connected. Then I'll go through my family. I am a loving wife. I am a wonderful mother to Carter and Alistair. I am a patient and kind daughter to Carmen. So I go through my list of I ams. for my vision statement, and then I connect what I want to show up at, who I want to show up as, and what I want to share. You know, I want to give value. I want to connect women to their infinite potential within, and inspire them to do what they want to do with their life. So it's important to really think about who you want to show up as. And if you're not clear on that, you can write that and you can step into the vision of whoever you want to be. So if there's an area of your life that you think needs a little bit of attention, you know, write it down. What if it's relationships? What kind of wife do you want to be? What kind of friend do you want to be? And then that becomes the basis for your vision script and your self-image script, and it's very helpful. And I would say you look at that every day, a couple times throughout the day, especially when you first start. But that is what's going to get you doing all the things you're supposed to do, or that you want to do. Meaning, if you've got your vision script and you know you want to have a healthy, fit, and vibrant life and run after your grandkids, and you're reading this, you're going to go to strength class, right? You're going to go to yoga, because there's a deeper reason. And if you can get the deeper reason and see that vision, that's going to carry you through. And you can adjust the vision as you go, right? You can take bits of people who you love and put that in your vision statement, and then you revisit it, and it can be whatever you want. You write your own script.
Oh, it's so true. And the visualization part of it is also something that's going to land inside when we actually take time to visualize what it is running after grandkids. I'd like to visualize grandkids because they're not in the picture, don't have any. I mean, so I can still visualize myself running after them. Yeah. But I think visualization is key to anything. Yeah. If you can visualize yourself with strong arms, then yes, you're going to be more likely to get out there and pick up the heavier weight, possibly.
And you know what? It's the visualization. There's so many great studies on this. I mean, we know Olympians, politicians, actors have used this. There's one study, and I hope I'm saying it properly, but you'll get the gist of it. There's 4 groups of Olympians, one all physical training, the other physical, a tiny bit of mental, the other one half and half, and the other one was the majority mental and the less physical. And the one who did the best was group 4, the mental rehearsal, right? And so I'll always say to my clients, if you're having a hard time building new habits, before you try, sit down and visualize yourself going to the fridge, picking out foods that are high vibe for you, putting them on the counter, preparing some meals, or visualize yourself going to your fitness classes and loving it and completing it. Like, get the vision there first. Because as human beings, we think in pictures. Mm-hmm. And when we're off track, it's because we have the wrong picture in our head guiding us. So if we can put the right picture in, and one that's inspiring, that's going to keep us going. That'll be the fuel that will just keep us going through the ups and downs.
So beautifully said. So beautifully said. Yes, visualize. I'm so grateful for your time today, Leslie. You really have some great words of wisdom, insight, motivation, inspiration, and I appreciate that so much. Oh my goodness, I am visualizing everyone out there listening and sparkling after our conversation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, this was great. And people can find you on your website, right?
Yeah, and we have a list. We were talking about affirmations. I just put up there the other day, affirmations for a healthy, fit, and vibrant life. And we have a list of them and how to use them. So that's wearebuffnation.com, and you can grab that list.
Perfect. Thank you for that. That's wonderful. I'm going to go out and start creating my sparkly movie in my head, my life vision. I mean, I kind of do it, but this is such a great reminder to actually visualize. And I hope that all of you listening out there are doing the same, and that you will go check out Leslie's website and all of the offerings she has, whether you're ready to start a fitness journey, continue a fitness journey, start a mind mapping or visualization of your life vision. I really hope you check this out because I feel inspired and motivated. And I thank you so much for tuning in week after week. Now go out there, lift some weights, eat some healthy, high vibe food, and shine your light. See you next time.